Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business intermediaries from across the country, and joining me on this segment is David DiPerri. He's the founder of Exitus Global Incorporated. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mark.
David, tell us a little bit about your practice, your work, and specifically, who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
Sure. Our business model is one that's kind of changing, we believe, the approach for deal execution. And Exitus Global was formed and started as a software platform startup. And over time, this software will provide business owners and business buyers an opportunity to transact a sale through a platform. And our strong belief is business owners should have more control over their own destiny as they would exit their business.
Give us a little bit of perspective, sort of the before and after, because you say that you believe in a change or a shift that's happening that you're creating here. Tell us what the traditional way of doing it is, and perhaps what's flawed by it.
Sure. The traditional business brokering model is where an intermediary acts in between a seller and a buyer. Very traditional process. And the fees that are charged for that are somewhere between 9 and 12% on the first $1 million of sales. We work with the small business owner, the small to medium-sized business owner. So we believe that fee structure is exorbitant. And for business owners who have worked their whole lives building and growing their company, only to find out at the end of their business life, they'll pay a 10% fee off to a business broker is a sizable chunk. They wouldn't give that 10% to their brother or their sister. So we believe that business owners who can run a business for 10, 20, 30 years, sometimes multi-generational, should be able to handle inquiries from buyers and act on their own behalf in representing themselves as part of a sale. And we strongly encourage them to use an exit advisor, their CPA, their business attorney, their business advisor, if they have one, as kind of an internal team to help them navigate that. Our platform will be at a 2% fee structure as compared to 9 to 12%. So just using $1 million sale as an example, a business owner would be paying a business broker 10% or $100,000 as a transaction success fee. And we feel that's just exorbitant as they're going down their exit chapter. So we believe as a software platform will create great efficiencies as part of that process and save business owners a ton of money as they go through their sale process.
Is there something that the business intermediary or that broker does any different that adds that value to earn the 10%? Or what do you feel is the needed or unnecessary parts of it where you feel they can save the money by doing it on a platform instead?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's some great business brokers out there, and I think there's some business brokers who may not be in that esteem class. And the challenge, Mark, is that the process, in my opinion, is broken. I'm a continuous improvement apostle. And when I look at the business brokering process, this is no detriment to business brokers whatsoever. And we're not going after business brokers. We're going after trying to help the business owner as they exit. And a business broker plays the role of intermediary between the buyer and the seller. A business broker would argue, and to some extent justifiably, that kind of middle person perspective allows for the diffusion of energy between the two parties as they're trying to transact a deal. But it comes at a heavy price. And I believe that a business owner provided tools and support from their own internal team would be able to navigate that on their best interest. The business owner does not know the business broker before they start the sale process, but they're very tuned in with their tax accountant or their business attorney who are lifelong advisors for them. And I feel those folks have the best interest of the business owner at heart.
So this is really fascinating to me because as I've been doing these interviews and series and learning a little bit more about the industry and what's needed to sell a business today, you mentioned earlier exit planners as and that's yet a different party than a business broker. Can you kind of
Sure.
define for a lot of business owners that don't understand this quite, the differences in the roles of the exit planner versus the business broker, and where do you think that the exit planner fits with your platform?
Sure. I think, again, the business broker acts as an intermediary between the buyer and the seller. The exit planner, in our view, works directly and only with the seller, provides information and guidance on building the CIM, confidential information memorandum about their business, works with them to try to get in front of the tax implications. Often, I believe that a business owner should know very, very early on, if you sell your business, he or she should know what the tax implications are on that sale. So we try to do a lot of curation as part of our process, which allows for an ex-advisor really to help the business owner, and again, with their tax accountant and their attorney, what some of the things are that they're going to be getting introduced as they go through a business sale process. There's a lot of money at stake at the end of a business life, and I kind of equate it to a wedding in a lot of ways. There's lots of pieces going through the sale process. There's legal pieces, there's accounting pieces, there's tax pieces, there's basis pieces, and a whole bunch of other things that are going on as far as the closing would go. And those are best left in the hands of the business attorney and the tax accountant.
I came from the wedding industry, so I can relate to your analogy there of the tons of moving parts, if you will.
Yeah, it
David, what
is.
inspired you to get into this business and into this industry? How did you get started?
Yeah, I started as a business broker years and years ago in a company, and I learned the ropes. And as a continuous improvement person, I was, even way back when, about 10, 12 years or so ago, Mark, I was still kind of saying, boy, this model is awkward. And as a business broker, I was trying to find a seller to list their business. And then as soon as I have the listing, now I go and deal with the buyers. So it's a very opposite extreme. And what was funny to me then, and is still kind of peculiar about the process today, is we work so hard to get our good listings. And then at the back end of the process, we're trying to deal with the buyer side of the equation. And this is what prompted this whole process for me. I had a business owner after a sale said, "Boy, David, you got a good check there, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah." His name was Chris. And I said, "Yes, Chris. Those are the fees that we charge." And at the time, I was also charging 10%. We now charge 7.5% for our brokering fees and 2% for our exit advisor fees. But the point that was really salient when I was driving home going, boy, I could tell there was something there from the customer, the seller. So I called him back, and I wanted to have a discussion with him, and we spoke for a few minutes. And he said, "I know you helped me, David. I never would have got this sale done without you, perhaps. But," he said, "I could have probably represented myself pretty well in this deal. And boy, that's a big chunk for 10% of my business. And in truth, I didn't know you all that long ago." I really took that to heart, Mark, and I called him back a couple of days later after thinking about it. And I shared with him that thought he was right. And I told him, the deal was the deal, but you know what I'm going to do is I'm not going to get paid the full commission now. I'll get paid my full commission when you get paid off, because often in these small business deals, sellers take paper as part of the deal structure. So let's just use as an example. In this deal, let's say the deal was $750,000. He got paid $500,000 at the closing and $250,000 paid off over 5 years. So think about the misaligned value proposition. The broker, who had nothing to do with the business for all these years, gets paid in full at the closing, and the poor business owner doesn't get paid off for 5 more years. So I felt that was a misaligned value proposition. So we now align our payoff structure completely with that of the business owner. We get paid off when they get paid off in the same proportions.
Really great insight. Fascinating. David, before I ask you my last question, is there anything that I didn't think to ask that you feel is important to share to a business owner today that's considering selling?
Well, I think technology is the game changer. So I believe, and again, of no disrespect or disregard to business brokers per se, but I think technology is a game changer in the process itself. Just like Uber was a game changer for the taxi industry, I believe there's some parallels to what's going on in the brokering industry. And I think technology can do much of the heavy lifting of a business broker, with greater efficiency and allow more of the focus to be on the deal itself instead of the data side of the deal, which is a big piece of it. So I believe that we're trying to be at the front end of what I think is going to be the next change in this industry, and all again for the benefit of the owner and the future buyer. It's really about them. When I think about it, Mark, the lives that get changed on a deal are the buyer and the seller. The broker goes on to the next deal and to the next deal and to the next deal, but those lives are directly impacted for a long time. So it's a big deal, and we try to take it in that light.
For our listeners who want to get more information, David, how do they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Sure. Just visit exitus.biz on the web, and we've got a whole bunch of information in there about our approach, how it works, and how we believe, save them really significant broker fees. And we work very closely with our sellers, but we're really part of their internal team for this little piece of their business life, a very important part.
This has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and stopping by to share your insights with my audience today. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate your time as well. Great questions, by the way. Thank you.
That was David DiPerri, the founder of Exitus Global Incorporated. And this segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done to educate consumers, grow their practices, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.